From the Borough at Athletic Park in Wausau, Wisconsin, it's Chucking It Up with Eric and Dan.
Welcome back to Chucking It Up. This is episode 46, and we are glad you're here.
Yeah, welcome back. We just finished up a grueling homestand at the Borough. Made it to 7 of the 8 games. Just missed the noon game because we had to work our real jobs. But yeah, we got a great episode for you today. We got a interview with first half Woodchucks pitcher Tyson Potts. He's no longer here, but he was here in the first half. One of Eric's guests he's wanted on for a while. Finally made it happen. We each have our wish list, and he was on Eric's, so
Not anymore.
yep,
Landed the plane.
really good one there. And yeah, we can just go through this homestand here. Actually, we'll start with the Ignite since they only played twice this week, and then we'll go into the Woodchucks.
Playing their third time this week right now, but, well, this should be
Yeah.
the new week.
Yeah. So was it? Yeah, on Monday they were in Madison playing the Nightmares, and no surprise here. The Ignite beat them again, 12-6.
Yeah, another big win over the Nightmares. Winning pitcher was Brooklyn Danielson and Riley Shuizo, friend of the pod, and Claire Kalmus. Might be a friend of the pod soon. I don't know. Guess you'll have to find out. She had 2 home runs as well. They both had 4 RBIs. Riley had 2 hits, and Claire had 3 hits of her own. And then we went to Thursday at La Crosse. We won it 1-0. Brett Herr had a complete game, 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 0 runs, and 5 Ks. And it was the first road shutout for the Wausau Ignite in team history. And currently, right now, as we speak, we are now trailing La Crosse 4-5 in the bottom of the 4th. So we got to turn that one around. But that's it for Ignite for the recap. So if everything holds, they had a 2-1 week, but I think they're going to flip that around and it's going to be a 3-0 week. And as of going into today, as we record this Sunday, before the games are final, they were tied with Grand Forks for the second spot in the championship game.
Yeah, and then the Ignite could not play at the Borough this week since the Woodchucks had it occupied every single night, Monday through Sunday. We made it to every single game, like I already said. Just missed that nooner, which we usually don't come to the noon ones anyway. But yeah, we started out on Monday the 20th. Woodchucks also played Madison. This was a makeup game from last week when the wildfire smoke, canceled it. But yeah, it was not the Woodchucks night. We'll just put it there. It was, and they lost 4-15. There were also tornado warnings and a lot of nonsense, but yeah, it just wasn't our night.
Yeah, so then we can just go right into Tuesday, 7/21. No makeups anymore. So this is the actual 8 games in 7 days homestand, or 7-game homestand. We started off against Duluth, was in town, and we beat them 13-3. Winning pitcher was Huxley Holcomb. Lane Walton went 2 for 4, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs. In a big win against Duluth.
Yeah, Duluth stayed in town, and we played them the next night, Wednesday. High-scoring game. Woodchucks came out on top, 15-12.
It was almost a 4-hour game. Winning pitcher was Jack Garvey. Pistol Pete Jazerniak came in and got the save. Max Solis was 2 for 4, 1 double, 1 home run, 2 RBIs. And Jackson Pecci, he was 3 for 5, 1 double, 4 RBIs. And another big win against Duluth. And we swept the season series 4-0 against them.
Yeah, and imagine that was a really long game, but imagine having to like a 4-hour game and then having to drive all the way back to Duluth.
After you lose.
Brutal. It's long
Unfortunate.
long ride back to Duluth. If you guys weren't aware, if you know, you know.
Bad boys we are.
But then we had the doubleheader on Wednesday. It was Green Bay had the nooner. I don't know. Woodchucks just have trouble with doubleheaders or something. Even the players were joking with us about that. But yeah, dropped the noon game 2-5 on that one.
And then we came back out in the nightcap and we got a big win, 7-2. Winning pitcher, first win as a Chuck, I believe, Malachi Ross. Lane Walton stayed hot, 2 for 4, 1 home run that I did call, and 4 RBIs. And Jackson Pecci was 2 for 4, 1 double, and 2 RBIs. And a big win over Green Bay to split the doubleheader.
Yeah, we were standing down third watching the game. Lane was up, and Herrick looked at us and said, Lane's going to hit a bomb right here or something, whatever he said. And literally the next pitch, Lane sent it out of the park. So he did call it. Then we went to Friday. So Green Bay was on Thursday then. I think I said Wednesday.
Nobody gives a shit. It all blends together after this homestand.
Yeah. So Friday night, Eau Claire was in town and took care of them 5-4 on Friday.
Winning pitcher was one of our good buds, Gavin Kindle. Pete Jezerniak, Pistol Pete, came in and got a big save to hold him off. Holden Grobel was 1 for 3 with an absolute bomb.
Crushed it.
Straight out to center field. Probably was all of 380. 3 RBIs on that one. Peyton Fergens was also 2 for 3, 1 RBI. Got a big win over Eau Claire to start the weekend. Then we go to Saturday. Another big one with Eau Claire. This one, extras. The Chucks win 4-3. Winning pitcher was Aiden Goodwin. Absolute nails in the 10th. Max Solis was 1 for 3 with a home run. The momentum changer. It all changed after that bomb. Noah Malone was 1 for 4 with 1 RBI. The game winning walk-off RBI. And as of going into today, boom, Max Solis was at 26 career home runs.
Northwoods League record is 37. So
with 13 to go.
I mean, he could do it. It's not impossible, but would need to get really, really hot. And yeah, sounded like that game was a little chippy. That's what the players were saying. So
yeah, then we went into today, Sunday, and it just wasn't our day. Lost 5-8 to Rapids. And the homestand, 8 games. We were 6-2. Really can't complain about that. Wish we would have had the one today, but we're game back of Lakeshore for the second half title with 13 to play. Let's go do it. Don't scoreboard watch. Just worry about ourselves. And I think we have Lakeshore next weekend, Friday and Saturday for 2, or Saturday, Sunday for 2. Huge games. Let's go get those, and the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah, we just gotta do our I say our job like I'm playing, but yeah, the players just have to take other stuff, which we know they can do. Corey will have them ready to play, and yeah, it's all in front of us. So
you boys can do it.
Yeah,
we love you. We believe in you. And like we said, we have a great interview with Tyson Potts. And if you're a avid listener and a returning listener to us, this interview takes a very different look on things, and it's not our normal. So it's a good little change up, and Tyson speaks very well for himself, and you just get to learn a little bit more about Tyson and stuff. And he's just fun to talk to.
Yeah, it's just a really good interview, and you guys will like this one. And it was
as always. Thanks for following. Thanks for all the support, all the likes. Always coming to say hi at the Burrow. We got stickers on us all the time. But we're going to toss you off to Tyson. Love you guys. And we'll see ya. Peace.
See you guys.
Joining us next on the pod is one of the nicest guys you will ever meet and has quality start written all over him. Please welcome to the pod, Tyson Potts.
Hey, what up, Tyson?
guys?
Welcome
Hey.
to Chucking It Up. You missed it tonight. There were tornado warnings at the borough.
Wow.
Yeah.
We got some pretty bad storms out here in Arizona today, actually. The next town over was basically all flooded, but no tornadoes like it is up there in Wisconsin.
Yeah, we didn't, well, at least in Wausau, we didn't get anything, but everyone's phones started blaring and they pushed us all into the bathrooms and it was crazy. Never seen anything like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, you, as all Chucks fans know, you were here the first half this year. Unfortunately, had to leave.
Yeah.
What is that like? Just having such a good first half like you had, and then unfortunately having to take off like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough choice, but that was kind of the plan coming into the season. I discussed it with Corey with it being my fourth year. Get out there and, enjoy and compete for that first half and then see what happens with the draft. Unfortunately, that didn't end up working out so far, but there's still a chance to go back for another year of college potentially. So I'm trying to figure out all that stuff still. And then figure out if that doesn't work out, another pro ball opportunity. But it was definitely tough, especially the way I was throwing the ball at the end of last start, July 4th. Great way to end it, but it's always tough ending on a hot streak because you just want to keep going.
So you mentioned that college could be an option. You're working through it. Would it be back at Central Michigan again, or would it be a new school?
Nah, I'd be going somewhere else. I wouldn't be returning to Central Michigan. So where that other school is going to be, I don't quite sure. not sure yet, but it won't be in Michigan.
So do you for sure get another year, or do you have to like apply for that or go through something to see if you can get that other year?
Yeah, it's really up in the air right now. So they passed like new eligibility rules of 5 years to play 5 seasons. I graduated high school 4 years ago, so like this next year would be my 5th season, in college. But they excluded my high school class in the initial ruling. So right now the NCAA hasn't given me any eligibility, but there's already been one court case won in Ohio by some basketball players in my class that, they've been given that ability of, being able to play this year for basketball. So really I just have to wait there's a few different lawsuits involving baseball players and then, our class as a whole that are going to get settled in the next week or two. And then based off those is when teams are going to be able to be comfortable signing me at this point.
So are there teams ready to pull the trigger, or is that going to be another whole process once you do get cleared?
Yeah, I've been in contact with a few different schools that they're willing to offer me. They want me, but it's just they can't do it quite yet with the eligibility stuff. They can't sign a guy with no eligibility. So if that gets settled quickly, then the school decision will be, a day or two after that.
So what's with then Central Michigan? Why was there a chance you could have gone back there, or was it just you want to do something new? Or
yeah, I enjoyed my time there, but it's going to be almost a whole new team out there, and I'm in a position now where I can kind of get a little closer to home. Being in Arizona, if I can go play somewhere, at least in the Southwest, not necessarily across the whole country out in Michigan, get into some warmth, that would be ideal. So that's kind of in a spot I'm at right now. So it wouldn't be, I liked it at Central Michigan, but I think it's time to move on one way or the other.
You didn't like the cold?
Yeah, I definitely enjoy the Midwest in the summer a lot more than the winter time.
Did you play in the snow at all at Central Michigan?
We had a couple like fog, sleet games. I actually played in the snow a couple times growing up because I live in the mountains, so it'll still snow in the springtime here every once in a while. But the cold's not like it is in Michigan. And then, thankfully, the way they do the schedules is we're not really in the Midwest the first month or so of the season. So it's not till about March, April till we have to worry about it. So we stayed out of the snow, but that's definitely the worst conditions to play baseball in.
So like you said, you didn't get drafted. For guys that don't get drafted like yourself, is there still like opportunities where you can get picked up, or signed by major league teams?
Yeah. So like right now, there's obviously the undrafted free agency thing, but that's, most of those contracts are getting settled within the next few days. So then it goes on to independent ball, where if I don't end up having schools, if school's not an option, I'm going to train over the winter time and then do kind of a showcase for, major league teams and for independent ball teams, and then try and get signed out of that. Cause I do have some opportunities potentially go play independent ball, but I want to try and give myself a chance to train a little bit more before I go out and do that at this point.
So did you graduate?
Yeah. Yeah. I finished my bachelor's this year. So it'd be like as a grad transfer.
So what does that look like school-wise? Like, do you go to classes and just like get a better degree, or what does that look like for a grad transfer?
Yeah, so it'd be for a master's. So yeah, trying to get that better degree. And there's different 1 year and 2 year options. So I do like the 1 year where it's not the full degree, but it's like a grad certificate. So it's not, it's not ideal, but it's still another degree that you get. And some guys choose to just do a class or two each semester to stay eligible, not really worried about getting the degree, and they just play baseball. So that's always an option as well.
So are you, when you're looking at schools right now for this potential 5th year, are you more like looking at the baseball side of things before like the actual school, since you already graduated?
Yeah, I'm looking at, everything, but the two most important things to me is kind of just the fit culturally with the staff and the team. And then outside of that, just the baseball. Like I want to try and, last year was my first year at Division I baseball, and I was able to, compete and start there. So if I could get a chance to move up to a Power 4 team, I think that'd be a really good opportunity to continue to prove that I can do it and, challenge myself as well.
Yeah. So going back to Prescott High School, were you just did you just play baseball? Or did you play other sports?
Yeah, I played basketball like early on in high school, but then once it got down, in Arizona, I'd go down to Phoenix to play in the wintertime. And then obviously I play here in the summertime and spring. So there really was no off season for baseball. So it was more, I just played baseball all the time. So basketball kind of went away, but I still love to play some pickup hoops, or, especially when we're on the road, we'll stop at a gym, and all the guys, that's what we love to do. Most of them won't work out. We'll just go to the basketball court and play pickup. But I also hit a lot more when I was younger. I was more of a hitter than a pitcher. So it made it easier to play year round, and it wasn't as taxing on the body.
So you brought up those pickup games. I got to ask, what was your scouting report on last year's team, since we've had a lot more of those?
It was, there were some guys that were sneaky good hoopers. One of the guys, he didn't get much playing time as a Chuck, but Trevor Busen, he was a monster down in the paint. And then obviously you had like SJ was quick. Berkey would play some hoops out there. Pitching coach Zach Hopp, he could hoop too. Another tall guy, but Everett was a really good hooper too.
So if you had to pick a starting 5 for a pickup game, just Chucks.
From either year.
Yeah.
This year or last.
Caleb Danzeisen, he's a hooper. I do Caleb probably. So Caleb would be at the 3. I'll go at the 4 because I got to be on the team. Trevor at the 5, Everett at the 2, and then I'll pick Birkland to run point. Well, actually, no, I'll have SJ run point, and Berkey can be the 6th man.
Yeah, we've heard stories that SJ thinks he's Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite go that far, but he's definitely a guy you want on your team during pickup, though. Although another sneaky one also is broadcaster Matt. He was hooping with us this year, and he's sneaky athletic as well.
So at what point did you realize that you were pretty good at baseball and like it could be a future for you?
Growing up, I was always like, baseball was my thing. It was just like some kids, you turn on the TV, it's cartoons or whatever. But for me, it was baseball. I lived baseball. My dad loves to tell a story of like, even when I was, I was 5 or 6 playing T-ball and coach pitch, and I thought it was stupid. I couldn't score on home runs and stuff. So they moved me up to, the actual baseball teams really young. But it was, I'd always know where to go with the ball. It's just baseball was my thing. So from an early age, even it was, I knew I was talented, but I didn't quite know, especially coming from a small town, being able to go and play in college. And then once I got to high school, I always thought I was always more of a hitter than a pitcher until I got to college. So that was a little bit different because I thought it looked different. And then when I got to college, I two-wayed in the fall, and then I made the weekend rotation as a freshman. So there I had to go put the bat up. But really, once I was about a junior in high school is when I thought, I had a good chance. I hit like 450, 460 and had a couple home runs, and I, threw the ball well. So at that point was when I thought I'd at least have a chance to go somewhere to play college.
What about today? Could you still swing the bat if you had to?
Oh yeah, we have pitchers BP. Every time we get a shutout, we get pitchers BP. So I like getting to the field early with the guys, and I'll always just be out there early fielding ground balls while they're taking early batting practice and stuff. But I'll get out there. Last time I swung it, I hit one out to right center over the big wall. So I can still get out of the park. That's all I kind of care about at this point.
Just imagine what you could do at Green Bay's field hitting like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So who's the best hitting pitcher on this year's team? And you can't say Braden Mazzacano since he's a two-way.
Yeah. I mean, it's a whole different ballgame when it's not batting practice off the machine. But I will say the coolest thing a pitcher did during BP was Reese Clapp. The first time we had it, he took one swing during pitcher's BP and hit one onto the street, and he was done. He took one swing and was done with a wood bat. So everyone else, all the other guys were, rolling everything over or swinging and missing. And Reese, he got in there, took one swing, hit one out, and he was done. So I'll take Reese. Although Carter White likes to say that he can do it, but I'm not convinced from the swings he's taken.
He also has the best stash on the team if you ask him to. So
yeah, that's true.
So then after high school, you went to Wayland Baptist.
Mm-hmm.
What was the decision to go there? I know I read somewhere that was like your best offer to play.
Yeah. I only had 2 offers out of high school. I didn't do the recruiting process, I guess, as well as I should have. I didn't know much going into it. So, coming out of high school, I had an offer to go to Arizona Christian and then go to Wayland Baptist. And I kind of wanted to get away from home. I knew if I stayed in Arizona, I'd probably be coming back home to see my parents and family every weekend. And I wanted a chance to go and, be my own man. And Wayland Baptist, it was like a 10-hour drive. So it was still close enough to where I was away from home, but I could still come back for holidays and stuff. So that was a big decision on just getting out there. And it was also just a chance to play. I felt like I would have a good chance to play at the NAIA level as a freshman compared to trying to get on a roster and not play baseball for a couple of years,
So then you played that year, a couple of years at Wayland Baptist. How'd you get connected with the Chucks?
So growing up, I played with last year's assistant coach, Jake Schultz. So I've known him since we were kids. Like my whole life. And when he was playing, he played for my first 2 or 3 years in college. We were both playing in college at the same time. So over winter break and stuff, we'd do live at bats against each other and play catch, stuff like that. Just getting each other ready for the season. So then he mentioned that he was going to be coaching out in the Northwoods the winter break before. And I was like, man, that'd be awesome if you could get me out there. And then I went and I had a good year, and he put me in contact with Corey, and Corey had me come out. So if not for Jake, I never would have been a Chuck, or honestly in the Northwoods in general.
Had you heard of the Northwoods League before he told you about it?
Yeah. You hear, at least out here, you hear about the Northwoods and the Cape. I've been at least hearing about those since I was 10, 11 years old. Just knowing those are kind of the places to go as a college guy.
Yeah, I saw someone on Facebook the other day comment on some Northwoods League post. I don't know what it was, but he said the Northwoods was a combination of the Savannah Bananas and the Harlem Globetrotters. And I was like, it's not even close. It's legit baseball,
Yeah.
Premier Summer Leagues. I don't know.
he must have only been to a Kalamazoo Growlers game.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And we often hear about the Northwoods League grind, how many games you guys play in however many days. Were you aware of that coming into it?
Yeah, coming into it, I knew like we played every day, but knowing that I'd been a starter my whole career, I wasn't too worried about it. And thankfully, I got that chance to start right away when I got out here, and I was able to hold on to that role. So it's a lot different being a starter compared to a reliever or position player, because it's kind of the same as school. You know, we'll have our one start a week, and then instead of going to class and practicing, then every day we're just getting our work in before the game and hanging out and watching baseball. So I love it compared to, you know, the more baseball I get to be at and watch, the better for me. So 7 games a week, I'll take any day of the week over 3 or 4.
What was your biggest shock coming into the Northwoods as a starter?
Probably just the crowds. That was a big thing, like the stadiums. Growing up, you know, we'd have our travel team, like games always at the spring training complexes, but obviously it's just parents and, you know, family members. And then in the NAIA, it's even less than parents and family members. It's, you know, 3 guys as girlfriends and maybe a couple of other families. So going out, and then I think I pitched the second game at out against Kenosha to start the year, and it was like, oh wow, there's stands going down, you know, up 45 rows and down both lines, and there's people here from all over. And so that was kind of a shock, but a good shock, you know, especially because my next start was in Madison on a weekend, and I was kind of welcome to it right there.
What'd you think of the Burrow the first time you saw it in person?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was really nice. Like, first impression was, you know, I thought it was huge at first because I hadn't seen any other Northwood stadiums either. But then once we started going to the other stadiums, I was like, man, ours field and park and environment's the nicest out of all of them. You know, some stadiums have more stands or bigger boards and stuff, but, you know, the Burrow just it's classier. It's a lot nicer and way better upkeep than most of the other stadiums around it.
What was your favorite one to play in outside of the Burrow?
I had a lot of success in Fond du Lac, so it's hard not to say Fond du Lac. But I really enjoyed Kenosha, honestly. The environment there was cool, and I'm a sucker for like the red brick on the fields and stuff like that. So their backdrop was really cool to pitch with. But everywhere is really cool. Apart from the thing that matters most to me is the dugouts usually. So Madison's dugouts are real cramped and small, so I'm not a huge fan of Madison. But outside of that, it's you know, every field is, you know, awesome. I love how different every field is in the Northwoods as well.
So is it hard for you as a pitcher to go out and say pitch in a Rapids environment versus in Madison, the Burrow, or then again like a Fond du Lac where there's not much of an atmosphere environment?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the guy. Like for me, I think it's easier for me because, you know, I never really got in those big environments. So when I'm in the smaller environments, I'm used to, you know, getting myself to be my motivation and all that. But then once I get in those bigger environments, it's just kind of fuels me even more. Especially when I'm out there on the mound, I don't really hear or see anything. I get kind of laser focused. So really the only difference is, you know, in between pitches, I can hear stuff. So sometimes those bigger crowds are honestly easier because you can't really hear anything. When you're at the smaller crowds, you can hear every word in the stand. So when you got people like you out there, you know, the ball 8 chants and stuff like that really gets to you compared to if you're in a Madison, you can't hear anything in the stands. You just hear a buzz. So it just kind of, you know, sinks into the back.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced as a pitcher anything like that? Like a ball 5 like we do, or like just general cheering while you're pitching, like trying to get to you?
Yeah. Really the only one that I can remember like having it even register on me. It didn't really bother me, but it was like I was out there and it had me thinking, was this year when we were playing Louisville. I came in bottom 9, bases loaded, nobody out, and we were up by like 2 or 3. And it wasn't the sound, but every time I would come set, I would like look out past the third baseline, and there were these guys that were just like making all this motion and like hand motions, and it just would catch my eye just because that's where I was like locking in. And it didn't necessarily affect me, but it was like, usually I don't have anything register in my mind outside of the pitch I'm going to throw when I'm pitching it. And, I'm coming set and I'm like, oh, look at those guys. I got to focus back in.
I mean, we know your bias, but is there any other Northwoods League like crowd that does what we do, like standing down third?
Yeah, no, I've especially like singular guys. I think there was one guy, one game at Rapids last year that was, giving us business. But outside, like, you guys are consistently every game there, and you guys keep it, lighthearted too. It's not like you guys are mean about it, but it's just good old fashioned, friendly banter, which I enjoy. Like, I never hear stuff down from you guys, and I'm like, that's not great. It's,
Yeah.
it's stuff to laugh at, but I know if I was on the other team, like, I wouldn't be, getting upset about it either. It's, you guys are fans, and it's awesome that you guys care, and it's, everyone appreciates it, even the other team. I'm sure, a lot of the guys appreciate having that extra care in the games that they're playing in,
And we like to think that, like, we do make a difference because, like, you guys or the Chucks are so much better at home than on the road. Is there, like, a reason for that?
I think part of it is you guys, giving us that no matter what's happening, we know people have our back. When we're on the road, if something happens, we got to rely on each other, which, isn't hard to do, but, anything happens at home, we still have you guys cheering down the line, or, a lot of the times you guys will yell something that will make us laugh and keep the dugout in a good mood, stuff like that. So a lot of it just has to do with the environment as well. You guys build up, and then, the rest of the crowd takes it as well. A lot of loud chants, like they usually don't hear chants like that in the other stadiums either, where the whole crowd's getting into it. I think a lot of it has to do with just you guys being able to start them,
I was just talking to Corey about that then this weekend, the same thing. And Corey's like, it's really hard to get your team motivated to play in Rapids or in Fond du Lac. And we were in Duluth when he said that, and he's like, look at there's like 200 people here. It's hard to get motivated to play in these games. Because I asked him the same question that Dan just asked you, and he basically gave the same answer.
Yeah. And a lot of it depends too on certain guys play for certain things, and the crowds help a lot of the guys just get that extra juice, where some of the other guys, it's, it's also easier as a starting pitcher. I've got my one day, so I better be motivated and fired up and focused, because then I got to sit on a bad start for the rest of the week, and no one wants to do that. It helps it not get monotonous.
Yeah, so what do you do if you have a bad start? Like, what's the rest of the week like? Do you keep dwelling on it? Are you able to, like, just move on, like, get the next one, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, I always try to keep a consistent routine, because that's what's worked. So even if I have a bad outing, I know, well, I should do the same thing I did the week before after a good outing, because that's what leads to success. But I try not to let it affect me during the game. Like, after I get pulled, whether I threw 1 inning or 7 innings, I try to be the same guy in the dugout the rest of the game. I might be a little more upset when I get home. I might not want to talk to anybody for that night, but then the next day comes around, and it's, I either am feeling great after a good start, so I'm, more than happy to get back to doing recovery, doing thorough, and get back out there so I can get that feeling again. Or, I'm upset with how I did, and I'm extra motivated to make sure that doesn't happen again. So then I start working hard as well.
Yeah, I saw you threw 8 complete games with 3 shutouts in your time at Wayland Baptist, which is impressive. Like, how do you manage that, to throw so many complete games? Like, is there a secret?
Yeah, well, they'd let me ride a little bit longer out there too. I've always been a guy that gets stronger as the game goes on, and I don't necessarily mind throwing 120, 130 pitches. Where in the Northwoods, it's good that they have things in place to protect the pitchers. Especially, it makes it easier for schools to send guys out here. But at Wayland, I would just, a lot of them were 7-inning games or 9-inning games too. But if it needed to be 130, 140 pitches, that's what I was going to do to get the complete game. I wasn't going to get taken out a lot of those games where, some guys, they've got to throw it in under 100 pitches, or else they're going to be coming out.
So when you're throwing that many pitches, like in the 130s, is your arm just a noodle the next day? Or
I think it's kind of the opposite of a noodle, because it just like sometimes it hurts a ton. Sometimes it feels better than if I threw like 80 pitches. It's kind of just depends on the day, but it's usually the rest of my body that hurts a little bit more. A lot of my legs and like my torso, my abs will always be really sore after throwing as well. So it's like just remembering that I use the rest of my body to throw. It's not just arm is kind of the thing people forget. Obviously the arm and like the tendons, muscles, you just need a day or two always to let everything get back. I'm throwing maybe to 60 feet and just flicking the ball back. Half the time I won't even step into a throw the day after, just because everything needs some time to recover after throwing, 130, 140 especially. It's a lot of soft tissue work and just letting the arm rest for a day or two before I get back to work.
So when you're pitching, can you tell like I'm going the distance today? That I can do it today?
It's usually by about the third or the fourth inning. Like if I get into trouble, it's usually going to be in the early innings when I'm still trying to find a feel for things and get a feel for the strike zone and how the guys are swinging it. Once I can get in the fourth or the fifth, and if I've got a good read on guys, like I know what I need to do to keep throwing in the game. And, especially like the last few starts in the woods, I'd get strikeouts early, and then I wanted to get further into the game. So I started pitching more to contact, trying to get those quick outs instead of all those strikeouts. Especially once I kind of figure out where those hitters' weaknesses are.
Who was your favorite team to beat in the Northwoods?
Definitely. It's a tie between Green Bay and the Mallards, because the Mallards, it always feels good to beat them. They always have the big power four guys, and they're the Mallards. So especially the way we've handled them the last, since I've become a woodchuck has been really fun, just knowing how much that matters to you guys as well. But after last year, this year, beating Green Bay was always special to me, especially we, just whooped up on them a lot in the beginning of the year after how we lost some heartbreakers last year that really, really didn't leave a good taste in my mouth. So being able to go out there and beat those guys pretty handily every time we would go out there was good. Felt real good to me, even if I wasn't out there on the field.
Yeah, from what we've heard from guys, it's just like the Madison rivalry is more like, respectful, like game recognizes game type of thing between the two teams. And Green Bay, we've heard that it's just they're kind of not as respectful, not as classy.
Yeah, they get a little chippier, and with the Mallards, yeah, there's that every time we play, there's that mutual respect, and their manager does a good job of having them play the game the right way, and Corey does a great job of that too. So I think it starts with the managers and then goes down to the team, where we're going to be competitive. We want to beat them because of who they are and who we are, but at the same time, we can respect that we're the two top teams in the league, and it's going to be a good game no matter what.
Speaking of Corey, what's it like playing for Corey Thompson?
It's great. You just feel like he's got your back, and that as long as you do the things that are right on the ball field, he's going to have your back, even if the results aren't there, which is important. He's always communicating with you. Where you stand. So those are my big three with the managers, knowing that you're supported, knowing that playing the game the right way is going to be rewarded, and then just knowing where you stand, because there's nothing worse than being on a baseball field with any sort of uncertainty. Once you have uncertainty in the box, on the mound, anywhere, that's when you've lost. So when you know where you stand, know what you're doing, and have that conviction coming from the manager, it helps on that field as well.
So if you're just having an off game, you're just not on for whatever reason, what's Corey saying to you to get your head right?
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes he'll rip me, which sometimes I need, which I appreciate. I'm never going to shy away from that. Sometimes that's what I just need to hear. But then other times, if things just aren't going your way, he won't necessarily try to make you feel better, but he won't rip into you. It's a hard game playing baseball. Sometimes it's just not going to go your way, even if you put that effort and the right things out there. So he understands that, and he's got that feel for the game that helps you feel better coming to the field every day, honestly.
And I still think you look like Corey without your glasses. I don't know why, but every time he used to walk by us, I was like, I see it. That's
Kyler Northrup would always tell me that as well.
yeah. It's not a bad thing. I can't unsee it.
Yeah. No, he would always call me young Corey.
Yeah.
Kyler would, but I don't think Corey ever heard that one yet.
It's kind of like we have Corey at home.
Yeah, that's funny.
So you played, with several different catchers in your time here in Wausau. Was there one that you preferred to catch you when you were pitching?
It's been nice. Just, my main catcher this year was Holden, and it was nice getting to be on a game plan with Holden, really figure out, our strengths and help him, especially as a younger catcher and me being an older guy. I could help him kind of learn how to call a game at the same time as him, having that feel and me being able to trust him and get, after those first couple starts, we were on the same wavelength every time I was out there. But the guy from last year that was just special back there was Jake Witherspoon. There's just something about it. It was just every time he put his fingers down, it was what I was thinking, and ball didn't get past me, threw everybody out. So a lot of good guys out here, but I feel like Jake, who I didn't get to throw too much, but Jake was definitely my favorite that I've gotten to throw to.
Is there like a difference throwing like maybe one start, you have Holden, and then say the next one, boom, is back there? Is there a difference between catchers or just a plain catch?
Yeah, it depends. Like, well, you'd like to think once you got to this level, everybody would be the same, but every guy receives a little different, especially in the Northwoods. Like, we call our own pitches, so the pitch calling matters a lot. And nothing's more frustrating than when you're out on the mound, you got to shake off, 5 times to get to the pitch you want. But being on the same, that same wavelength with the catcher is the most important thing, just being able to stay in your rhythm. So it does differ guy to guy, but most of the time it's just, little things like that it's just not. In summer ball, you're not teammates for the fall going into the spring, so you don't get to catch guys, 20 bullpens before the season starts.
Do pitchers ever can you ever say to hey, Corey, any chance this guy can catch me today? Or is that you have no say in that?
So it's kind of different. You kind of got to earn that, my first, like last year, it was just whoever was on the lineup card. But after the first couple starts out here, Corey would ask me the day before, who I wanted. And, we'd go like that. But obviously, whoever Corey thinks is the right guy, I'm good with. But a lot of the times, especially this year, he'd ask me the day before, just, who's been catching, who you're comfortable with, which, I appreciate it.
Can we talk about why you weren't an all-star this year?
Yeah, I don't really have any idea on that. It was, especially after last year, I thought I was a little bit robbed last year, and then this year, was a lot worse. But there's not much I can do about it, so I don't want it to be something that frustrates me too bad. But it would have been a great experience getting to go out and play in Iowa.
We'll be frustrated for you because you should have been one last year and this year.
I appreciate it. It's just one of those things where at the end of the day, the All-Star game, it's just a nice little thing to put on your resume. But I felt like I earned it this year, and especially with the way they changed how they did the voting, it left a bad taste in my mouth having it be AI that decided I wasn't an all-star. That didn't really make me feel great.
That's how they decide.
That's why the Chucks only had 2.
Yeah.
You guys should have way more than 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a lot of guys that deserve to be a all-star on our team. And I'm not going to slight any of the guys that did make the all-star game, because I'm not big on keeping up on other stats and stuff like that. But when you look at, we've got guys at the top of the leaderboards and a lot of stats that weren't at the all-star game, with us being, a top 2-3 team in the entire Northwoods. That just didn't really make sense to me.
Well, like you and LJ didn't even lose a game when you guys were pitching, and you guys neither you were all-stars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know quite how they chose all that stuff, but
yeah. Well, you're an all-star in our eyes, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, that is all that matters. I know I got the support of the Woodchucks, so
yeah,
I don't really care about the other stuff.
You're a chucking it up all-star.
Oh, yeah.
Is there you guys have a couple different uniform combinations. Is there a certain one that you like better than the others?
I I like the grays the most. I think I like the button-up jerseys. So the gray and the whites are the button-up jerseys, but the gray ones just have a different material. So for me, like throwing in the grays, I always felt best in grays and then whites and then the navies. It's just because I like having the buttons. I like being able to decide kind of where it's hugging my neck, whereas the navy ones are just straight up. So I definitely go gray, then white, then navy.
They were playing the navies last week, and it was like 90 degrees. And literally, Richie came off the mound, and he was like, looked like he just had taken a shower in his uniform.
Yeah,
just dripping.
Oh yeah, and I do not miss that Midwest humidity. Ever since I got back out here, it's warm. Don't get me wrong, but there's no humidity like it is out there, which is nice.
So, what's your favorite thing you did in Wausau that wasn't baseball related out of these past 2 summers?
We would go, me and Sam Nitsky and a couple of his friends from, the Wausau area, we'd go up Rib Mountain a lot, and I really enjoyed that. I thought Rib Mountain was really fun. I'm a big outdoorsman, so we'd go fishing every once in a while or up Rib Mountain. Those are the things, just being able to appreciate those nice looking things out there in Wausau outside of Athletic Park.
Yeah, I saw you had a 10-mile hike this morning.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Yeah. Yeah, I have some mountains in my backyard, so I go out there and a little bit. I'm not a huge runner, so if I can hike instead to stay in shape, I'll take that any day of the week.
I'm assuming you went to Quick Trip when you were up here.
Yeah, once or twice at least.
Yeah.
And before and after every single game as a woodchuck.
All right, so then we got to ask, what's your Quick Trip order? Like, what do you get?
So before the game, I get a big black coffee because that's what I drink during the game. So I'll get a large black coffee before the game and maybe some candy or something to snack in the dugout. But then after the game, I like the buffalo chicken nuggets, the boneless wings. So I'll do some of those and then probably a grape Pedialyte. That's usually my pretty standard order there after a game.
You ever try the garlic parm wings?
I have not actually.
Those are so good. They're like better than like B-dubs. I don't know. Their sauce is so good.
Yeah. Well, they've got good like chicken nuggets. They're the boneless wings in general. They're nice. They're not all breaded.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you're gonna have to come back up here to try them. So.
Yeah. If I get this 5th year of eligibility, I would be able to come back. So, that'd be something I would definitely do if I have the ability to.
Sure, there's a spot up here. Actually, I know there's a spot.
Yeah, as long as I'll have to ask Corey, but I think
you don't need to ask. You just need to tell him, Corey, I'm coming up next summer, and he'll be like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with how well you pitched in the first half, was there any chance where you like maybe I could stay, or was it always just like I camped?
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't been home for a while too. I've got some little nephews that, they're double in age as the last time I saw them. And just being able to bring all my stuff from, I was moved out to Michigan, so I wanted to be able to get everything back home if I did get drafted or signed. Just so it was one less thing off my table of things to do. So it really wasn't much of an option staying out there much longer. I'm already missing it. I haven't played a game in like 2 weeks, and I'm already itching. I'll be out shopping and waiting on somebody, and I'll have the urge to do a pitch in motion or something. Just missing the game, but it was time for me to come home for a little bit and get to see some family and reset in that way as well.
With the draft, was there interest in you? Were you hearing from teams?
I wasn't necessarily hearing from a lot of teams. I knew they were, in the stands, and with the way I'd, been throwing, I thought there'd be an opportunity, but I always knew it was a lot more realistic for the undrafted free agent or independent ball to getting signed route for me. It was, probably the way I was going to have to go.
Is banana ball an option?
I don't think I'm flashy enough for banana ball, unfortunately. I don't have the dance moves. I don't have much of that in my bag, unless I came up with the idea of making like a like a heel team in banana ball where it's a bunch of hard-nosed,
Yeah.
I do that, some guy bat flips, I'll hit him with the next pitch, stuff like that, I would do that.
Did you see them on the ESPYs like last week doing that full like choreographed routine?
Oh yeah.
It's like
I get it, and I enjoy that it's bringing people towards baseball, but it's just, I don't, when people act like that is baseball, that's when it's like, they are talented players, that are out there using their gifts, but yeah, it's the dance and the sideshow isn't quite for me at this point in my life. That's for sure.
So what was it like when Corey went back home for the birth of his son and Harrison took over? You were there for that, right?
Yeah. It was a little different. We'd make jokes because I was like right after my last start, we made the joke that I was the coach, so I'd stand where Corey would stand and do some of that stuff. But I mean, obviously it was weird not having Corey around, just with the type of guy he is and the presence he is in the dugout. He makes sure you never go a day at the park without having a conversation with Corey, which is another thing I appreciate about him. But Harrison does a good job. He knows what he's doing. So apart from just the not having the relational aspect of Corey, it was still, baseball. We were still expected to play hard, play the way that we were taught. And, I feel like Harrison did a good job of keeping that in line.
I want to bring it up because I'm not over it either. But how tough was that loss on the last game of the first half? Like, how was that your worst loss you've ever experienced in baseball, or
yeah, just knowing the stakes and knowing the type of team we were. The Rapids, they're a talented team. Obviously, they didn't have the wins, but they've got guys on their team, and it's baseball. So you knew we were going to have to come to play. It just felt like we tightened up, So especially just knowing, our guys pitched it real well, and we just had to scrape across a couple of runs, and we got unlucky. And then knowing how much they care too, like when they won and they announced the score of the Mallards game, like the Rapids were cheering, that that really made me feel something. But yeah, that's just not one that I like thinking about very often, that's for sure.
Because like if someone would have said like before that game or whatever, like to win the first half you just have to score like, what was it, three
runs.
Three runs against Rapids, you guys, everyone would have been like, oh, no problem, like because you guys score runs, and that's just how baseball works.
Usually we have that by the second or third inning.
Yeah, right. I mean, you scored 29 against them, like
yeah,
you couldn't score 3. Like, it's just how it works.
So on another note, what Dan just brought up, you were the starter for that 29-2 game.
Yeah,
how insane was that?
Oh, I mean, especially I came out and I felt like I had good stuff that day too. But then we get into like the third or the fourth inning and we've got a 12-run lead. And it's just, as a pitcher, I'm not trying to strike people out. I'm just trying to put the ball over the plate because I know I can give up, 5-6 hits this inning and it really doesn't matter. My guys are going to keep scoring and we're going to win the game. So just having like that sort of lead was very, just relaxing. But then, if you remember, it was like 11 runs we scored in that 8th inning. So I was out of the game at that point when it went from a blowout to, wow, what's happening? So that was just awesome. Like being in the dugout for that and just seeing our guys score. That was one of the most entertaining games I've been a part of.
Did you see someone tied the record like last week? I think it was Kalamazoo. They scored 29.
Really? I didn't see that.
They gave up a lot more than 2 though, so it's still ours.
Yeah. We still own the margin of victory record.
Yeah. So then going into your final start, which was incredible. I don't have your line written down, but it was an incredible start. Going into that knowing that that probably could be your final start ever at the Borough, or just period in the Northwoods League. What was the mindset like for that? Was there any thoughts of that, or?
Yeah, I mean, leading into the game too, like it was 4th of July, so that's my favorite holiday, and getting to the field, having the 4th of July music, knowing it was going to be a sellout, knowing all that going in. I was so excited to pitch. And also, like you said, there was no guarantee of any baseball after, that day. So it's quite possible that was my last start ever. So knowing that, and, I took some moments pregame just to soak it in and, know that it was going to be one of my last times. So I needed to just lay it all out there and enjoy it, which obviously I was able to do, which I'm glad. That would have sucked if that was a 2 or 3 inning stinker, but yeah, just reflecting on that, I did do some reflection before the game, just in the dugout while they hit BP, just by myself, looking out at the field, remembering some of the good memories at Athletic Park, and got myself ready to go and just have some fun on the 4th of July and beat the Mallards.
And your line was 7.1 innings pitched, 3 hits, 0 runs, and 6 Ks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll take it.
We hope it's not your last ever start there at the Burrow. I mean,
yeah, me too.
But if it is, that is no better way to go out. It's like storybook ending type stuff. That's cool.
Yeah. I'm glad that I was able to at least, have that, and have, especially with the Burrow being packed coming off the field. That's something I'll never forget. Just having everybody cheering and knowing it was a special moment, not just for me, but for the fans as well. Something that I'll never forget.
And then where did you watch the fireworks from?
We have our post game meal down by the opposing team's bullpen mound. So I was eating, sitting down at that, just watching that, and then got a chance to go hang out with the guys after. It was about as perfect as it could get.
Is it true Corey doesn't like fireworks?
Honestly, I've never really asked him about that.
No.
That's
what he told us.
I never see him out there for fireworks, so I would think that's true. Because is where I would expect him to be out there during the fireworks. That seemed like his sort of thing, but
yeah, we got a picture with him one of the Friday nights this year, and he took our picture. He's like, "Hey guys, I gotta go. I don't like fireworks." So we were just wondering if you had heard about that.
No, that's probably something he wants to keep on the down low, though. So
yeah.
I might have
Way to go, Dan.
We'll cut it out.
Yeah. So you played in Wausau for the last 2 years. I'm going to put you on the spot here. I've done it to Drew Birkland. I don't think you played with him, but with Jake's brother. And then I asked, boom, the same question. Who is your favorite player to play with these last few years?
It's got to be Jake, just on and off the field. He's a great guy, and just having him at shortstop. It's hard to choose just one teammate because everyone brings something different. Corey does a good job of bringing in different personalities and talents to where it's, a lot of great guys. I've met my best friends out in Wausau, but just having Jake out there fielding ground balls at shortstop, and he's just so fun to watch play, run around the bases, and then off the field too, just hanging out with him. He's always a blast. So it's got to be Jake Burke.
Was there a guy that really impressed you that just was really good and surprised you? One of your teammates?
Yeah. Probably just coming into it last year, how Noah just exploded. Getting to know Noah, and he didn't have a great year at school. So, but then him getting the chance and him just absolutely raking all year and then coming back and doing the same was really impressive, just to see how he works with Harrison, works with Corey, and, continues to improve every day.
He told us tonight that he wanted to be mic'd up and do a podcast while he was playing.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. You might have to, that one would take some editing to get done.
Yeah. So we'll see about that.
Yeah. Run that one by Corey as well, probably.
Yeah, right. So is there a song that you listen to that gets you in that zone to just go out there and dominate, like that go-to song?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because most guys, it's, they like to pump rock music or rap or something just to get them going before the game. But I'm kind of the opposite. I get so amped up that I need to calm myself down. So I try to do a lot of just slower, indie music, Noah Kahn, stuff like that kind of helps get that heartbeat down and relax me and get myself into that mindset of not necessarily trying to do everything at once, but where I can kind of think things through and, execute more so. And then obviously my walkout song, courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, that one gets me going every time after the anthem.
So is is that you got to pick one song for us?
Yeah, it's got to be Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, because that one, it just, especially as my walkout song, they have the anthem, and then I'm starting to warm up, and you just hear that start playing, hear those words with the flag flying behind you. Gets me in that mindset.
So this was the question of the day that Corey asked me when I was in Duluth on Saturday. Him and Noah were having this debate. Can you be honest without being accountable?
Can you be honest without being accountable? I'd say yeah, because being honest isn't always being accountable. And especially if you're in a leadership role, sometimes being accountable means taking the blame for others. So that's not necessarily being honest, but knowing that, it's something you could have avoided, or just taking the blame for your guys, because that's what you're supposed to do as a leader, is something that is accountability, but maybe not being the most honest.
That's what Corey thought. Noah was on the other side of things.
That doesn't surprise me.
Speaking of leadership, did you feel kind of like a leadership role or kind of veteran presence since you were a returner from last season for some of the newer guys that came in for the first time this year?
Yeah. I mean, last year, even once we kind of got into the season, just being an older guy, a lot of the guys out in the Northwoods are in their freshman, sophomore year. And, I was going into my senior year. So just being able to talk with the guys and use some of my experience to help them see why certain things matter, and it's easier to hear that from a teammate than a coach a lot of the time. But then especially this year, coming back, having been successful last year, and then being here from the start, we did the introductions. Corey, I was a returner, so Corey said, go to Tyson if you guys have questions. He'll know the answers, stuff like that. So from the start there, it was kind of just knowing that I'm in that role of, also being the opening day starter. You take kind of that pride in being the head of the rotation. So there's stuff that comes with that of, setting that example for the rest of the guys in the rotation and being there to help those guys, get to be the best that they can be as well.
Did you ever hear the saying, "Pots is hot"?
I did hear that saying a decent amount of times, especially from Matt.
Yeah, since you brought up getting candy at Quick Trip. I don't know if you've heard this one, but
from Braden Durfee.
Yes,
this is his question.
Okay. Braden gave us this one.
Okay.
Is chocolate candy?
Yeah, chocolate's definitely candy. It's sugary. There's chocolate, and then there's hard candy, chewy candy, but it all goes into the chocolate. Chocolate category is part of the candy category too. Do you guys disagree, or?
I disagree on that one. It's like, I think there's I either want candy or chocolate. If I want candy, I don't want someone to give me chocolate. I want, Sour Patch Kids or something.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, that one.
I'd agree, like a chocolate bar maybe, but like a Hershey Kiss is candy. Like maybe it's the size that matters too.
She said.
Yeah. This is a family program.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that one threw us for a loop, and yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it both ways. Like, I've been hearing all these arguments. I agree with Dan, but then Tyson's not wrong either. It could be all under one umbrella, but then I can also see where you want candy, you don't want someone to hand you a piece of chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I definitely get that angle as well.
So, yeah, we had never heard that before he asked us, and couldn't stop thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now we'll give you the final question, which you may know what this is, but is a hot dog a sandwich?
No, a hot dog's a hot dog. It's like a sandwich. Yes. A sandwich has 2 open ends, or 4 open ends actually, where a hot dog only has 1 open end.
Yes.
Oh, I've never heard that one. See, that is a new one though, but we agree with you.
Yes.
That's a new.
Yeah.
Corey thinks it is a sandwich. Just so you
Corey
know.
does.
Sam, your
Sam
favorite
does.
teammate Jake does,
Jake.
and SJ.
The majority,
yes. SJ does.
Majority's yes. Yeah, no, a hot dog's a hot dog. It's a whole different category. That's way different than even the candy and chocolate thing.
Yeah. No, the majority's no. You'll be episode 46, A majority have said no, but there's a handful that
Okay.
just want
The
attention.
softball manager, she
Mhm.
thinks it is a sandwich.
Some people just want to be a little different.
Yeah, they want attention.
Mhm.
And Corey's like very, very strong on it is a sandwich. Like, what did he text you a picture of in the
A
off season?
menu from Florida, and they have it as a sandwich.
Oh, the hot dogs. Yeah. And then it was
Yeah.
National Hot Dog Day last week, and we posted something about it not being a sandwich. And he commented, he's like, "You guys are better than this."
Yeah.
So he's very, very strong on that one. But we agree, it is not a
Yeah.
sandwich.
Mhm.
So
All right, Tyson. Well, thanks for coming on here with us. I really wanted you on here. Dan probably wanted you on, but you were like someone I really wanted to get on, probably because you're the nicest guy I've ever met at the borough.
yeah,
But
we have
thanks
like a
for being up
list.
here. What, Dan?
I was just gonna tell, we have like a shared like note on our phones where we keep notes about what guests we want on, and you were on the top of Eric's list. So
I appreciate it. It's a blast getting on here. Love the support from you guys. It always, that was one of the things coming back to Wausau I was most excited for, was just hearing you guys down the line again this year and cheering us on, getting the ball 5 chants going and all that good stuff too.
Yeah, it's just cool that you came back and dominated again, because you dominated last year. It's cool to see guys have success up here and ones that just love playing ball, and the perfect guys that Corey wants, because if you didn't love playing ball, you probably wouldn't be around on Corey's teams. So, but
Exactly. Yeah.
we appreciate you coming on here, and it was great. So,
Yeah. Appreciate it.
all right. We'll see you, Tyson.
See ya.
thanks.
How much wood did the woodchuck chuck?